going on, good people? It's your boy Iceberg here, coming to you from a different location today. As you see, my background totally different. A lot more room back there, a lot more space back there. Still in North Carolina, mid 80s as far as the temperature, about 70% humidity. So it's a warm day. Make you sweat. I've been out here cutting grass at a piece of property my wife and I have. So let me just, since I haven't taken y'all out here before, take y'all on a little journey, show y'all around a little bit, see what we got going on. Just gonna walk with y'all a little bit, show y'all around a little bit. Got some Crepe Myrtles here. They're young. We transplanted these. Our neighbor, next door neighbor, actually right here. She has crepe myrtle trees, so she cut off some stems and got them rooted for us and everything, and had them over there ready for us. So we dug the hole. He's probably been here about a year now. So you see that one there starting to come up nicely. And another one here starting to come up nicely. We got two more on the other side of the driveway. I'm just gonna walk up this center area here. But just want to talk to y'all a little bit about some of the things that you've heard me talking about on my channel, and kind of just give you a little bit of, idea about how I think, let's say. Now, y'all see me talking about gardening. You hear me stressing the importance of everybody planting a garden, everybody getting out and growing something for themselves and for their family, reducing your grocery bill, reducing the effects of inflation on you and your wallet, reducing reliance on government, grocery stores, etc. So you hear me talking about everybody needing to grow a garden. Some little trees here starting to try to grow. I don't know what they are. I'll look them up later, and if I need to take them down, I will. I don't know what we plan on planting here, but you see we've walked little ways from where our crepe myrtles were. One of the important parts about stopping right here is the next part of what I want to suggest or stress as importance to everyone. After you plant your garden and learn how to grow stuff wherever it is you are, whether you are in an apartment, whether you're in a townhome, or whether you're on 100 acres or anything in between, it's important for you to start growing your garden now so you can learn about soil, learn about how to grow the different things, learn about what they need, what diseases the plants get, what insects they have that may be invasive, which ones may be helpful, all of the different things you need to learn, right? So once you have that checked off your list and you start growing every year, then you'll just, learn more and more. You won't have to study that stuff. You'll just know it, know what to look for, and be prepared to treat it and address it as it happens. So after you plant your garden, and you can be doing these things simultaneously. This is not a before and after, but if you're just starting at step one, first thing you got to do, start planting something, whether you're in containers, in the ground, or whatever. So the reason I stop right here and I show you back to the road is because now I'm talking about the importance of land ownership. After you plant your garden and you're working on garden, the next thing you and your family got to work on is owning some land. That's the next thing you got to work on, is owning some land. Now, I've just come up a little ways here, and we're going to go a whole lot farther. I'm going to show you around a whole lot more, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And you don't have to own as much land as my wife and I have. I mean, an acre can carry you a long way. You can do a whole lot with just 1 acre. This here is actually a little over 7 acres. But you can do a lot with just 1 acre, but you got to own it. You have to own some land. So we're looking back at that road there, right? You see, that's the main road. That's a state or county or whoever maintained road. But once you turn off that road onto that driveway, that's where your opinions have to start conforming to the rules of the owners of this land, which happen to be myself and my wife. See, when you own land, you get to tell people who can and cannot come on your land. And if you don't like the things they're doing on your land, you can tell them they need to leave. You can evict them from your land. Even the police can't come on your land without having a warrant. They can meet you back down at the road. So let's see how far away from the road I can get on my land. I don't even have no fences up or anything down there right now, because I'm not living here right now. We got some wild roses. I looked them up on my app, and it said that these are a type of rose. So there's some pink flowers. They're all over the place, because while I cut grass out here, I don't cut it all. Why? Because this provides a nice natural barrier. Provides a nice natural grass barrier. And when this grass grows up tall, and then in the fall, it'll turn brown. It'll all turn brown, and it'll be like a 3 or 4 foot like natural hedge. But we'll walk a little farther. Again, like I said, we're getting farther and farther away from that road. And of course, I have huge plans for doing things out here. Actually, part of the reason I cut the grass today is so I can get out here this weekend and build some raised garden beds. These are apparently a type of daisy. It's also a wildflower growing out here. But yeah, I plan on getting out here this weekend and building some raised beds out of some recycled pallet wood that I've gotten. So it's not going to cost me anything but a little bit of time. Maybe some screws or some nails. Maybe a 2x4 or 2. But the majority of the wood used to make these beds will be from pallet wood that I've acquired and cut down into the size pieces that I need. Oh yeah, we're still walking. Can't even see the road down there no more, can you? Can't even see the road. We ain't done. Can't even see the road. Listen to the sounds of summer. All right, so let's say I stop right here, just because my land continues to go into the woods for another probably 4 acres. But let's say we stop right here. Now you see some houses around off in the distance. But what you're seeing, most of what you're seeing, this is me and my wife. We own this, we run this. We determine what happens here. Come out here and do whatever we want. We don't have a bunch of restrictions or anything like that. Only thing they don't want is you putting a trailer up in here. A little, like a single wide or something. That's the only kind of restriction we dealing with, but we ain't planning on that no how, so. The point I'm trying to make to you is that after you start growing your own food, if you don't already have your own property, you need to get you some. If it's you by yourself, if it's you and your family pooling y'all's money together, you need to have a place to go. Again, whenever these pandemics, these food shortages, and all these things happen, and the government is not there to take care of you, you need to have your own place to go. if you own land, own it outright, not you still, paying on it at the bank or whatever. But if you have the deed on some land, that means you always have somewhere to go. And if you have land, that means you have a place you can grow some stuff. You can build yourself a house if you have the skills and know-how. I studied carpentry some, and so I actually do know how to build a house. You can holler at somebody like Ears, brothers like that in the HVAC field. Holler at some plumbers, some electricians. You can build a house. You probably know people who have those skills and trades. You might look down on them because trades have been devalued in this country. But whenever you need something done, you know who you better call. That skilled tradesman, that journeyman. So, yeah, if you own land, like I said, even an acre, you can do a whole lot on an acre. You can put a house and build an entire homestead on 1 acre of land. There's a whole bunch of books, YouTube stuff about doing it. There's blogs and websites dedicated to that, building an entire homestead on 1 acre plot or a half acre or whatever. Like I said, right here, we have a little over 7. So we got a whole lot more room to work with than 1 acre. So we got more options. Of course, you want to try to get yourself some land in a place where you don't have very many restrictions. So, of course, country's going to be better. Rural areas out where you're not dealing with a whole bunch of city ordinances and stuff like that. You want to get you some land where you can get on that land and do what you need to do to shelter, feed, and protect your family. So if you need to have a chicken coop, have some chickens, whether it's for eggs or for actual chicken to eat. If you if you have enough land, you can have cows. We can have goats out here if we want. Since I have over 5 acres, I can have horses if I want. I don't have any value for a horse, but we can have goats if we want, whether it's for meat or for milk. I don't eat goat meat, but the point is we have options. When you have land and you are a land owner in America, you have options. Land ownership is one of the most important things in America. If you think back to way back in time in America and in a lot of other places, land ownership was what gave you the right to actually do business. You had to own something, because they used your ownership of something as collateral. So you had to actually be a landowner to be considered a full man at the time. We'll just say person, but at the time, you had to be a landowner to be considered a full man. And a lot of that hasn't changed if you look at the laws on the books. We're still operating off of the Constitution that was originally written. Yeah, they've written a few amendments into it to kind of change some things, but a lot of the real estate and property laws, a lot of that stuff is the same. So land ownership, do not underestimate it. It is probably one of the most important things that you can do. It's more important than owning a car. It's more important than so many things that a lot of focus is put on by people. But if you own land, you always have a place to go. You can build a house on that land. You can grow food on that land. Nobody can really tell you what to do on that land. Do not underestimate the value of land ownership. But first, start feeding yourself. Plant a garden. Put a seed in the ground. Give it some water. Give it some sunshine. I challenged y'all last Friday. I challenged y'all to plant a garden, or at least get the materials necessary to plant yourself a garden. Have you done it yet? Tomorrow will be Friday again. I've been out here cutting grass today. Yeah, I took the day off work to come out here and work on my land. See, a lot of times People talk about vacations and stuff like that. And yeah, I go on vacations. I was just on vacation last week. I wasn't home. I wasn't at my garden or none of that. Just last week. But all of the time that I take off from work can't be spent on playing around on vacation all the time. Sometimes when I take time off of work, most of the time, really for me, when I take time off of work, I'm doing something for me and for my family. So typically I'm actually doing some work, whether I'm cutting grass, whether I'm building something, something like that. Typically when I take time off of my 9 to 5, I'm actually doing something else to build for me and my family. Not telling anybody how to live their life, but you might want to just think about how you prioritize some things. Some things that you're making priority may not be the best thing for you and your family. It may not be the best use of your time, best use of your money. Just best focus of your mental. Yeah, you got to get away sometimes. You got to reset, unwind, whatever you want to term it. Actually, for me, coming out here and cutting the grass, that's my unwind time. I put on some headphones. I sit on the mower for a couple hours, make my yard look nice, and it's just therapeutic for me. Just like being out in the garden is therapeutic for me. I get plenty of time to unwind my mind. I don't have to leave my house. I don't have to leave my regular life to unwind my mind or, to get kind of that reset. That's not necessary for me because I do it pretty much every day. I make sure that's a part of my regular everyday activities. So maybe try to build some of that into your life. Build actually just regular decompression time, meditation time, whatever it is that you need. Build that into your regular everyday life rather than it having to be something that you wait until you spend whatever vacation time you have to kind of reset and get, just so you can kind of build up all of that pressure again. That ain't no way to live life healthy. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. But make sure you get you some land. Like I said, this is not a race. This is not a competition. I'm just trying to explain to y'all and impart wisdom on y'all from my own experience, things that I have done. Again, I'm only 43, so I'm not old, but I've actually experienced some things. I've seen some things. I've obviously done some things. If I'm living in one place, I got property in another place, I got a job, I'm growing a garden, I'm making videos, talking to y'all. I got a lot going on. But most of the things that I have going on is taking care of my business. I just started documenting it a little more so I can share with y'all, hopefully impart some wisdom upon one person. I'm only doing this for the one person, whoever that one is. If it's you, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing me to be a voice in your life. And if you need to actually reach out to me, you can see all of my information in the details in the descriptions. You can give me email, Facebook, Instagram. Those are the main places you can find me. But that one person, whoever you are, you got this. I don't have all the answers, and I've definitely made a bunch of mistakes along the way. You're going to do that too. But make sure you learn from your mistakes. And you don't have to make all of those mistakes. If you listen to me telling you that I made that mistake, you don't have to make that mistake because I already made it for you. I made it. I got the t-shirt. I learned the lesson, all that good stuff. You can learn the lesson just from listening to me without actually making that mistake. Don't spend that money on rims. Don't spend that money on cars and clothes and jewelry. Go buy you some property. I can't make no guarantees. I'm not a real estate expert or anything like that, but I can almost guarantee you that if you go buy you some property, it will not lose value nearly as much as the car, clothes, rims, jewelry, whatever other stuff you are spending your money on. I almost guarantee you that property will either maintain its value or probably go up in value. Since we bought this property, I don't know how many people, companies, basically, I've had reaching out to me every week, basically trying to buy this property from us. Now, they make lowball offers. They're just trying to scoop up everything in real estate because they think people are in a hard times and trying to sell their stuff for whatever they, can get for it. But that's not me. I'm actually trying to acquire property. My wife and I have a attitude that kind of once we acquire a piece of property, we're not giving it up again. Once we buy some property, we'll maintain it ourselves or turn it into a rental property. We'll do something, but that property's staying in our family. That's the plan. That's what our goal is. We're gonna scoop up as much as we can that we have actual use for, that we can do something with. I plan on putting a house here. I plan on putting a garden here, plant a large garden, actually growing a lot of crops here. So yeah, I have plans for this land, but I also have plans to acquire more land. So make sure you're making something move. Again, I took my day off from my regular job to come out here and make something move for myself on my property. What do you make a move for yourself, for your family? Huh? What you doing for your family? Are you making something move today? If you've been subscribed to me and listening to my videos for a week and you ain't planted a garden yet, what are you doing? What are you doing? You should have something in the ground, and you should probably have something about ready to start sprouting here in a couple of days. If you planted it a week ago, you're probably less than a week away from having something sprout out of the ground. But if you haven't even gotten anything in the ground yet, you're going to either be spending some money or your stomach is going to be hungry when that food shortage comes. Come on, y'all. It ain't that hard. Go put your hand in some dirt. Put a seed in that dirt. It is not hard. Give it a little bit of water. Give it a little TLC. Talk to it. Prune it. It's not hard. After you get that garden and stuff figured out, or while you getting that garden and stuff figured out, get your finances figured out so you can get you a piece of property. Start small. Again, this is a little over 7 acres, but you don't have to go there. If you don't need that, then don't get that. If you get you 1 acre, celebrate that 1 acre. If you get you a half acre, celebrate that half acre. Why? Because you got a place to go. If the shit hit the fan, you and your family can pack up. If you say paying rent somewhere, or if you need to sell one of your properties and move over to this other property that you got that's already paid for, it's yours. You can go over there. If you got to live in a tent for a week or two until you get you something else figured out, at least you got a place to go. That can't nobody tell you got to leave. It's yours. I mean, I don't expect it to get this bad because we're trying to take care of things properly. But if it got bad enough, we already have a tent. My wife and I could come out here on our land, put our tent up with some air mattresses or whatever, and we will survive. We both been in the military. We both are out here working this dirt, learning how to live off of this land. So if it came down to it, we could do that. Can you do that is the question. Do you even have a place to go to do that? Are you prepared? Are you and your family prepared that if stuff hits the fan, y'all can pick up, say, all right, we going over here. We gonna have to rough it for a little while. We gonna, sleep in this tent. But while we sleeping in this tent, we gonna be getting all the materials necessary every day to build our shelter. We gonna have food because we already know how to garden. We been doing that. We ain't even worried about that. We got a water source. We got a well or whatever. Are you prepared? Are you and your family prepared? Do you have a place to go? Plant a garden. Get you some land. Stop waiting around. The government is not going to protect you. You saw that already. Do they need to tell you again? It may not be so soft of a blow next time. This time it was a pandemic, and yeah, it disrupted a ton of things. But, it's not everybody homeless. It may not be so soft next time. Make sure you taking some action. Make sure you making something move. Let's go, good people. We got work to do. Let's do that work. Salute.